April 27th to the Brass Lantern, 6 to 9 p.m. We can talk more about the program, but please do come out and talk about it. Healthcare. Within 60 days of being elected, Prime Minister Ignatieff has promised that he will hold a First Ministers' Conference to start talking about the renewal of the Health Accord. This is, 2014 is just tomorrow, folks, and we need to ensure that we've got a good healthcare plan in place. Us working with the provinces, we know healthcare is a provincial jurisdiction, but we need to ensure that if I move to Vancouver, if you move to New Brunswick, or wherever you move in this country, you're going to get the same quality, affordable healthcare anywhere. We also have to start bringing in a drug plan with that and start talking about that. I think I better stop now. It's been a great night. I would like to thank all of you for coming out. You're telling me democracy is in action. You are a participating crowd. I was told when I started on this enterprise that we couldn't even have one last election. There weren't enough people interested. Well, you've shown them wrong. Thank you.
I am passionately concerned for the welfare of the Canada we all love. It would be so much easier for me to sit back and say, let others do it. I've done my share. But as my good friend, former Premier Ed Schreier would say, far better it is to light a candle than to sit and curse the darkness. I am genuinely afraid that Stephen Harper's party, if re-elected, will continue its destructive agenda to reduce or eliminate the positive role of government in our society and transfer more and more power to the marketplace and private corporate boardrooms, where grossly overpaid board members give chief executive officers obscene salaries. For example, Richard Waugh of the Bank of Nova Scotia, $10 million per year. He can retire tomorrow, too, on a pension of $1 million a year. Harper's plan is still to privatize public corporations. The CBC will be first on his list. He will continue to deregulate the marketplace and destroy the Canadian Wheat Board, since after all, that's one of the requests of his good friend and mentor, Brian Mulroney. Oh, Brian Mulroney. He's a director on the board of directors of Archer Daniels Midland, one of the few great grain corporations in the United States. I wonder. Our successful marketing boards in the agricultural sector would be destroyed if he had a complete majority. Our banking industry has not been deregulated simply because he hasn't had a majority in Parliament. Stephen Harper wants absolute control to carry out his agenda. Good people, including good progressive conservatives, like my old friend, the late John Diefenbaker, must stand up and, like me, speak out against Harper's American-style conversion of Canada. We have probably all heard Mr. Harper's slick American attack ads. You'll be receiving some pretty fancy and expensive literature from Mr. Harper's party. You will see a lot of advertising in the newspapers. I doubt that our NDP campaign can do much, if any, of that. But we will reach out to all the citizens of Provencher. You will get an election pamphlet that is worth reading. In that pamphlet, you will read of my personal commitment to dedicate to you my energy and passion for social justice. You will also read my personal commitment to dedicate my salary as a member of Parliament to charity. 50% to the Mennonite Central Committee for their wonderful overseas humanitarian programs, and 50% to charities within the Provencher riding. I am a proud candidate for the New Democratic Party and its dynamic leader, Jack Layton. On May 2nd, you can vote for a new government in Ottawa and a new member of Parliament totally dedicated to your service.
First of all, I'd like to just express again thank you to all of you that have made the effort to be here tonight. Again, like Terry mentioned, your attendance here shows that democracy is alive and well in Provencher and specifically here in the Steinbach area. For all of our Better Solutions platform, you can check out our website, chp.ca, and you can check it out for yourself and get more information because we weren't obviously able to cover all the issues this evening. Several years ago, I heard a passionate speech by the Reverend Dr. Leonard Anderson, who 10 years ago was cited as one of the top 5 spiritual leaders in all of Canada by Maclean's magazine. Some of you may know him as a popular guest speaker for the Promise Keepers. He spoke on the theme, "Is there not a cause?" I'm here tonight as a candidate for the Christian Heritage Party in Provencher because I believe that there is a noble cause that is worth living for, worth fighting for, and worth dying for. When I look at my family, my parents, and the values that they stood for, and the biblical principles that they instilled in me, and when I look at my children and the young families of today, I wonder if my generation has done enough to pass on our Christian heritage with confidence to them. And finally, as I consider my precious grandchildren, I am absolutely determined to leave a lasting legacy of a moral value system that I believe in. We need more Christian ambassadors in Ottawa, not just politicians. We need men and women of courage who will speak the truth with conviction and not compromise on faith issues. We need to have a fear of God and not a fear of man. We need to honor God if we expect Him to keep our land glorious and free. Between now and May the 2nd, remember, it is never a wasted vote when you vote according to your personal convictions and your values. We are all here today stewards of but one vote. I humbly ask you to consider making your vote count in a positive way, and then proudly sing, "God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee." And did you know that our national anthem is a prayer? And verse 4 of our national anthem goes like this: "Ruler supreme, who hearest humble prayer, hold our dominion in thy loving care. Help us to find, O God, in thee a lasting rich reward, as waiting for the better day we ever stand on guard." God keep our land glorious and free. Thank you very much.
I want to thank my fellow candidates for their time and their effort towards the democratic process. I want to thank each and every one of you for showing your interest in the democratic process by participating in this way as well. In this election, Canadians will choose between the principled leadership of Stephen Harper and the opportunism that forced this unnecessary election, an election that will cost the taxpayers approximately $400 million. They will choose between a stable conservative government and a reckless coalition. They will choose between a low-tax plan for jobs and growth and a high-tax agenda that will stall our recovery, will kill jobs, and will set you and your family back. Over the past 5 years, our government has taken action on the priorities of people like you who work hard and play by the rules. We're steering our country through the worst global economic recession since the 1930s. We're creating jobs now, and we're building a bright future by providing our children and our grandchildren with opportunities. We're supporting our men and women in uniform by providing them with the equipment they need to do their jobs, so that they don't have to go back to what was called by a leading general the decade of darkness. We're defending our national sovereignty and standing up for our history and our traditions. We're putting the rights of victims and law-abiding citizens ahead of the interests of criminals. And we're taking actions on issues of concern in each region of this country. When Liberal Minister Peterson said back in 2005 that we're going to have to get rid of supply management because we were the only country in the world that was still protecting it, the Conservatives said no. And we have reinforced and strengthened supply management when the prior government was ready to give it up. Canada is emerging from the global recession as one of the world's top performing advanced economies. Throughout the crisis of the past 2 years, the world has looked to Canada as a model and an inspiration. Through our economic action plan, we are making the necessary investments to protect Canadians and to create jobs now, and laying a strong foundation for long-term economic growth. Our low-tax plan is creating businesses and helping businesses create jobs right here in Provencher. And we're reducing taxes on hard-working Canadian families because we understand that household budgets are tight. Since our government came into power in 2006, the average family of 4 pays $3,000 a year less in taxes. But there's more to be done. Now is not the time for instability or for reckless, opportunistic experiments. The global economy remains fragile. Canadians remain concerned. I'm asking you to make me a part of the new Conservative government after the May 2nd election. As your Member of Parliament, I will continue to represent the interests of Provencher and Ottawa to ensure that you and your families have a clear voice in the issues that matter to you. Thank you for your support in the future, and I look forward to serving you in the future.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming and also for the organizer. And going door to door, I see a lot of people commenting that for the start to change for